着风雨，血脉更虚。
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second broadcast of the day. We just wrapped up with the Sparkling Tuna Cup, and now we have returned with WTL, with World Team League 2023 Winter Round 7, Day number 3, with Team Basilisk versus Mystery Gaming. And what a lineup we have before us. As you just saw on screen, we have quite some matches here. We are going to be starting things off with SHIN versus Reynor, followed by Bunny versus Serral, and Strange versus Trigger. The ZVZs continue, as we did have a ZVZ earlier today. Did of course contain some of our other players, did of course contain some of our more regional players, but we are ready for some more, and let's go, Poppy. Of course, Team Basilisk, one of the strongest teams in the entire tournament. They were top 2 last season and looking to reprise themselves here in the second season in the winter season of WTL. But this is going to be a close one. SHIN, of course, is the ace player for Mystery Gaming. He is the best chance they have to bring down some of these titans. These players like Reynor, like Serral. And I'm sure SHIN maybe wanted Serral. You know, Serral is a little bit known for his weaker ZVZ matchup, but this is going to be quite different. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be beautiful. Let us go. If you're in the chat, predictions. We'll get them going. We will try to get those predictions going. I just need a moment to try to set that up. Un momento, papi, un momento. Basilisk versus Mystery. Best of 2. SHIN. Oh, as we are just diving right on in. And here we go in the top left. We have, for Mystery Gaming, SHIN. And in the bottom right hand corner, we have for Team Basilisk, it is Reynor. Hi, un momento. SHIN, Reynor, 1-1, 2 minutes. 2-0, 2-0. Okay, predictions in the chat are open. Best of luck. For now, we have some pretty interesting openers. SHIN is going for 15-15. Now, if you are familiar with the CranKy Ducklings, if you've been tuning into our broadcast covering SHIN, you would know that SHIN does this very often. He is very, very fond of the 15-15 opener, not just against Zerg, but also against Terran and even against Protoss at times. SHIN has fallen in love with this over the past month of play, maybe even longer than that. This is, of course, a gasless opener. 15 hatch into a 15 pool usually leads into a later gas geyser, so this can lead into 2-base play from SHIN. Meanwhile, Reynor going for a much more standard hatch gas pool. So standard opener out of Reynor, SHIN spicing it up, going in a way for a later gas. Now the gas geyser is now on the way for SHIN. Because it's so late, usually we want to skip Link's speed, so we'll keep an eye on whether or not he gets it. Meanwhile, big shout to the sponsors, Doyu, Honkai Star, Taido, and Autofull as well. You may have seen the anime trailer earlier, or the anime ad earlier, and that is of course Honkai Star. I believe it is akin to Genshin Impact. It's a bit of a gacha game. So yeah, much love to Honkai Star. I know there are a couple of people in the chat that do play it, and by a couple of people I mean at least Smile. So, este smile, papi, este smile. But regardless, amazing to see some more support here for WTL for the StarCraft scene in general, and without them, this event could not happen, would not happen. As we're getting into this again, Reynor getting into Link speed, getting into his queens, his droning as well. Everything is looking as it should from Reynor. Third base on the way. SHIN, my eyes are still on him. Remember, because of his late gas opener, I'm really curious if he even does invest into Link speed or if he skips it entirely. If he skips it, 2-base Roach. 2-base Roach should be on the way. We should be seeing a wall momentarily here from SHIN. For now, he's still just defending here on 2 bases. Link speed does begin here for SHIN. Interesting choice. And with Link speed kicking in, this could mean that SHIN wants to go for a Link flood, because otherwise there is no reason to get Link speed, as we're stuck on 2 bases anyway. And it looks like the Observer has pointed that out as well. We're hyper-fixated here on... Yeah, the Observer likes it. I believe the Observer is a Zerg player. It's Moku, aka Takanashi. Of course, Chinese Zerg player. And yeah, he knows. He knows how important Link speed is in this kind of position. There's that Roach one on the way. +1 range in production here for SHIN as well. So it is looking to be, again, 2-base Roach. We'll see if he does cancel that upgrade and how many links he makes. Meanwhile, Reynor... he's aware of the 2-base play. He has eyes on the lack of third. He's going to be checking, sees the upgrades on the way as well. So Reynor knows he's free to drone. Free to drone, saturate his bases, be a little bit greedy here before he gets into his own roaches. And there it is. There's a Link flood. This is what we... So basically, if you ever open 2-base Roach and you do not skip Link speed, it means a Link flood. There it is. We have 18 Links on the way. This is designed to catch Reynor completely off guard. So Reynor, he knows it's 2-base play, so he skips the Bailing Nest, which means he's vulnerable. Reynor is droning. He is not ready for these Lings, as they're going to be a big surprise. He's going to be caught with his pants down. Here we go. The Lings are flooding across the map. They are now spotted by this Overlord. Reynor now knows what's going on. He pulls back immediately to his natural base. The Queens are getting in position. The Queens are brought from the main base. The boys are being pulled away from the third. Reynor would not have been ready for this. And a good reaction so far, but this hatchery takes a lot of hits. And can we get the base? We cannot. Again, really quick decision making here from Reynor. Really good reaction overall, keeping his workers alive. Sure, his base took a lot of hits. He's down to half HP, but it's still alive, and that is all that matters. As the Lings, they dive on top of the army. They're trying to go for the Queens even. The Queens, the Lings, whatever they can. Is it going to be enough? Behind this, SHIN is droning Clutch Transfuse, keeping the Queens alive. The Queens, they barely do make it out. One Queen does go down, but the other 2 survive, and SHIN is forced back, and now SHIN is in a rough position. Again, very important that Reynor was able to see this. Fun fact, usually when we go for this Link flood, the Queens of SHIN would be zoning away the Overlords to make it even longer or to make it even more difficult to scout, but Reynor, he saw it ahead of time. Again, really good reaction from him, pulling away. Did take some damage on the third base, but did not even matter in the end, and now SHIN, he's down in the economy. He's down in the economy. He's down in upgrades as well. Reynor is working on +2. SHIN just now working on his lair. His lair was delayed here in favor of the Link flood, and SHIN is basically 1 step behind. Not the biggest of steps, but a step nonetheless. We can see SHIN did make a couple of roaches. He's posturing. What I mean by that, SHIN is actually droning behind this push, so really he's trying to fake out aggression. He's trying to pop off his chest and be like, yo, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for a big attack, when really he's just droning, he's not reinforcing. And we are going to confirm that here with this Overseer Scout. We do get eyes on this. As, yeah, we also confirm the lack of additional gases, the lack of Spire. Very important here that Reynor confirms that there is no Spire on the way, because the Spire is very common here as a follow-up. Ling is going to be checking the third base. They're going to be denied to Reynor. He's not fully aware of the saturation here from his opponent, but both players are cutting workers around 56. 56 is basically 3-base saturation without the gas geysers. No gas geysers being taken here. A couple more drones are being squeezed out, but really we're just hyper-fixated on roaches. No Ling Bane, not in this first game. And again, you can see that because the advantage early on from Reynor, because, again, SHIN committed to a Link flood, you can see that that is reflected in the supplies. Reynor, he's had more mining for longer. That means he has a larger army supply in general, and yeah, we'll see if SHIN can catch back up here somehow, some way. Again, you can still go for things like Link counterattacks or Bailing Round buys. Spire is now throwing down a late Spire, but a Spire nonetheless here from our players. Oof. And is that going to be enough here? I mean, it's just so late for SHIN. Like, I appreciate that it's late because it means that it doesn't get scouted. That is true. That is true that it's not going to get scouted, but Reynor is going to be pushing first, and when he does, I don't know if SHIN's going to be able to hold, because he should be banking up resources for that muta switch. For now, fourth base being taken. Fourth base is spotted. SHIN is aware that Reynor is expanding again. Reynor has also drawn up to 65. So far, hasn't quite seen this spire, and it's gonna finish. Reynor completely unaware, still hyperfixated on Roach Ravager. This tech has gone unscouted, and this could be a way for SHIN to come back. Now, SHIN is down 40 supply. SHIN is down heavily in the supply here, and here we go. Reynor is pushing. SHIN is in a bit of danger here, and we'll see if he can hold on. The high ground, of course, does add quite a lot. The Overlords! Oh my god, taking it. Get out of there, Poppy. Get out of there. Poor Overlords. SHIN's trying to take another base, but we have Lynx to try to reinforce, to try to harass, even deny that hatchery. Reynor with some good service areas. A good concave comes in. He's pushing on through. Mutas are on the way. Oh my god, but 3 Overlords go down. Oh my god, the juicy piles. So juicy, Poppy. And here we go. Mutas, they dive on those Ravagers. They focus them down one after the other. Good target firing out of SHIN. He does force back the entire army of Reynor. Reynor, he doesn't want to throw this away. And we throw down a Hydra Den. A very late Hydra Den here from Reynor because of a very late scout. Completely caught off guard. Completely caught by surprise. The pants were down. But Reynor, he's trying to pick them back up. With that Hydra Den now on the way, we should be able to gain access to Vipers, or sorry, Infestation Pit, to get into Hive Tech, to get into Vipers eventually as well. We can see that SHIN isn't hyper-fixated on mutas. He makes mutas from map control, that is true. I believe that is 8 or 9 mutas in total. But he's now transitioning or focusing more on Roach Ravager. He's hoping that Reynor overcommits the Hydras. That's the hope, at least. We don't quite catch any drones. We do get a Ravager. Get a second Ravager as well. Not too bad. And here comes the main army of SHIN, pushing right through the center. That's a lot of Ravagers. That is a lot of Biles. And so far is forcing Reynor back. Muta's trying to come in from behind, but before we get into the Mutas, we go for a big Roach counterattack. Those are Roaches that are not at home to defend, by the way. Yeah, not at home, but we have reinforcements. Reynor should be able to hold on at the same time. He's getting workers across the map. The Mutas, they come back home. The Mutas, they race back home, but it's taking a little bit too long, and drones are falling left and right. That is 10 workers going down at the same time. SHIN is gaining ground, but with reinforcements, with the defender's advantage from Reynor, he should be able to clean this up. He gets on top of the Ravagers, on top of the Ravagers. He forces SHIN back. And SHIN now taking, now behind in the economy, behind in the workers. 13 workers go down. He still has these mutas, but Reynor, he's making Hydras. He's making the anti-air he needs. We have Roaches in every single mineral line as well. 16 drones going down, and the Roaches still have not been dealt with. We have Roaches at the 4th, main, and 3rd. And even natural. Every single base. Boys are being pulled. And SHIN is being pulled apart. SHIN is all in. It's all or nothing, and he's pushing towards the 4th base of Reynor. He will get a kill in the 4th, but can he get more than that? As Reynor dives on the army, avoids the Biles. Most of them, at least. And again, Reynor, he can afford to replace this army. SHIN cannot. Not anymore. SHIN is down to 24 workers. The concave is real. SHIN did well. He did well getting into mutas. He did well hiding the tech and gaining map control. But alas, the harass was just too much. SHIN could not keep up. That's 44 workers going down. We're down to 17. 17 workers. There's no turning back. Not anymore. There's no detection. We get on top of the army. The Roaches, they unburrow here on top of these Ravagers, and everything's going to go down. The mutas are doing what they can, but again, we're reinforcing with Hydras. GG gets called, and Reynor will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played here. Again, very stoic here from Reynor. Interesting. Reynor, he's usually like a very emotional player. You know, he's very cheeky, you know, popping off whenever he gets a win. But I imagine that he's taking this very seriously, especially because he was kind of caught off guard. You know, the mutas did come out of left field. They did give Shin a lot of breathing room, and that was a back and forth game. On top of that, the Link Flood also wasn't scattered as well. Reynor had some really good reactions, but Reynor was missing a lot of things here, so this was still a very close game, very back and forth, and Reynor, I'm sure he's just holding in his emotions here until he gets through this. A very tense series here between Shin and Reynor. Game 1 is in the books, but now we're getting to game number 2. It is going to be Reynor's map of choice, Solaris. Solaris is going to be coming up next. Again, I do think that this is a good opportunity for Mystery Gaming to put a point on the board. Shin, of course, is the ace player, and Mystery Gaming, they have struggled. They have been struggling here this season of WTL. Last week, they got their first win versus Team Liquid. And Team Liquid, they are a strong team, so it was a very strong first win as well. Can Mystery Gaming cause an upset here and now? I mean, their team has a lot of potential with Shin, Bunny, and Strange. Like, they have a lot of potential with their team, but they're still up against some of the best players in the world. And here we go. In the top right hand corner for Mystery Gaming, we have Shin, the ace player. And in the bottom left, we have for Team Basilisk, Reynor. Here we go. Ooh. Once again, 15-15. We mentioned it before, but Shin has been very fond of this for over a month now. In a lot of ZVZs and a lot of even ZVTs, Shin has been very fond of 15 hatch into a 15 pool. The Eric opener, if you will. He loves it, man. He loves it. Oh, here we go. Diva cannot save you. But welcome everyone in the chat. Welcome Slowbro. I see Nidstang. Senor Sadstack. Wow, bienvenidos, papi. Bienvenidos. Babyling, Jado, for sure. Is Easy Phil. Kuro, of course. Welcome, welcome. Again, we just wrapped up with the Sparkling Tunica. We're now here with WTL as we're getting into our builds. This time, Shin going for a much faster gas geyser, actually. Very interesting. It was still a 15 hatch, don't get me wrong, but a much earlier gas from Shin. That is something to bear in mind here. We'll see what that gas is going to be used on, because we do see that Shin has a slightly faster gas mining here than his opponent. This could lead into a Link speed timing. It could lead into a Bane bust as well, like rush into Baneling Nest. Like, typically, whenever Shin goes for a build or goes for an opener, it is not without purpose. Not without purpose, so there we go. We're pulling out. It looks like we are only getting Link speed. We are not getting into fast Banelings. You can see here that there is going to be a timing, and there's going to be a window where Shin has Link speed and his opponent doesn't. We could have been more aggressive here with Banelings as well, but Shin is going to be calming things down. He's not going all in, but we'll see, actually, because he's cutting workers really early on. He's committing so hard here. Again, it's only a couple of seconds. That's what's crazy about this. It's only a couple of seconds where Shin will have Link speed over his opponent, but he is banking so much on that small window to catch his opponent off guard. I love this as well. We have an Evo chamber as a part of a wall. This screams 2-base Roach. Once again, this time we are Link flooding 2 games in a row, but this is going to hit harder and faster. Maybe not as hard, but definitely faster. Hoping to catch Reynor completely off guard. Reynor, he is droning at the moment. Link speed. No, he can't. Did he cancel? He canceled Link. Oh no! He canceled Link speed because he believes it's 2-base Roach. Oh, uh-oh. Oh no. Oh, the mind games are real. Ay, not like this. No Baneling Nest, no Link speed. Reynor is droning, by the way. Reynor barely has an army, and here we go. The Link flood is upon us. Has been spotted. Reynor, he's walling off. In a panic, he's walling off as quickly as possible, pulling the boys even to the low ground, bringing his queens back together. Shin is all in. Shin is completely all in, and Reynor was caught once again with his pants down. This time, can he hold? This time, can he survive? The wall is being knocked down. That's a kill. No, the queen not quite in position. You can see him gritting his teeth there on cams. The boys have to be pulled. GG gets called, and Shin fights back. He does take game number 2. Whew. GG. That was a wild game. Again, that was crazy. 15 hatch into not a 15 pool, because we did commit to the faster gas geyser instead, and there's a lot going on there. Okay. So this is not a if you're a Zerg player in the chat, this is not applicable to your ladder games, because chances are, if you're laddering and if you open up in such a way where you're opening up 2 base roach, your opponent probably isn't going to cancel link speed. That probably won't happen. But at the highest level, because we want to be as efficient as possible, Reynor, he cancels link speed because he wants to save his gas to get into roaches as well, so he doesn't fall behind. Because if it's roach v roach, any gas that you spend on link speed or banelings, that's gas that you're not spending on roaches, and it's just wasted resources essentially. As you get into a faster lair and into roach speed, for example. So Reynor was being as efficient as possible, believing that it was 2-base roach, and Shin caught him completely off guard with that link flood. GG. GG, well played. And just like that, we are tied up 1-1. We have a series. Now, I'm sure Shin wanted a 2-0, and there was potential. We mentioned before that there was definitely a lot of potential in game 1, where Shin, his link flood in game 1 was also unscattered, the Spire was also unscattered. Like, Shin, he was going for all the tricks, all the twists, all the turns. Reynor survived game 1, and as a result, we have a 1-1 here, and as a result, this is still an uphill battle for Mystery Gaming, because, hey, they kind of dealt with Reynor, you know, tied up score. Up next, Serral. Serral versus Bunny. Oh boy. I have to choose a prediction outcome. 1-1. No one believed in the 1-1. You're crazy, Pop. You're crazy. And we are getting ready for it, which means I will get the predictions ready as well. 1 moment. There we go. Okay. If we're in the chats, I'll wait for the cams to be on. There we go. Predictions in the chat are open. Place your bets on how you think this will go. This is going to be a little bit different, of course. Serral, if he, you know, everyone has a weakest matchup. Serral's weakest matchup is ZVZ, but he's not against a Zerg. He's up against a Terran player. Now, Bunny is still a terrifying opponent. Bunny has been improving a lot. He has been looking quite strong here when it comes to the quote-unquote retired players coming back. I think of Kwangdong Freaks, I think of Stats, I think of Su, I think of Armani, Keen. I would say that Bunny is ahead of all of them. I'd say that Bunny has been more in form and more in shape. That's been reflected in GSL as well. And yeah, Bunny, he has a chance. It's a best of 2. 1 game is all he needs to really give Trigger a chance to take it home. And can he take a game off of Serral? I believe he can, but it's not up to me, it's up to the players. And here we go. In the top right hand corner of Hecate, we have Bunny for Mystery Gaming. And in the bottom left, we have for Team Basilisk, it is Serral. And looks like he just had a haircut. He's looking suave, Papi. Oh, looking good, looking good. Here we go. It's either a haircut or he just did his hair. Is he going out somewhere? Does he have a date? He does. He has a date with Bunny. Oh, let's go. Oh my god. But again, a big shout out to Shin for, again, taking that last game and making a series out of this as well. I was talking about this earlier, but Mystery Gaming have been struggling this season. But last week, Mystery Gaming, they bounced back. They bounced back hard as well, taking down Team Liquid. And can they do the same here against Team Basilisk? I do love that, again, Mystery Gaming, it feels like they're finding their stride again. It took a couple of weeks, but they are definitely getting into the swing of things. But the pressure is now on Bunny. So far, Hatch Gas Pool standard opener out of Serral. Meanwhile, from the side of Bunny, it is going to be a Racks Expand, no low ground 2 racks. Now, this is something that we have noticed. Again, we've been casting a lot of Bunny over the past couple of months. And Bunny, he has not really adopted the 2 racks opener from Beyond. Very infrequently, if not never, Bunny, he just doesn't really go for the low ground 2 racks. He's not quite fond of it. Not really his bread and butter. So I'd be surprised if we see it at any point in this series. For now, just say Rax on the high ground. Much more of a traditional opener. Much more traditional here as the Overlord is going in, does confirm the CC on the low ground, does confirm that there's no 2 Raxes at the natural base. Serral pulls out of gas. Interesting, he actually stayed in gas for the full 100 before pulling out, so very safe play here out of Serral, getting into link speed, maybe a little bit afraid of a 2 Rax, so just, yeah, really secure play. You could argue it's a little bit inefficient, but again, really safe play here out of Serral. And Serral's the kind of player that can afford to play safe, to be honest. Like, I feel like he's just that damn good, where he can play, like, he can take a couple of economic deficits here and there, but just to be safe and secure, just to get into the mid game in a decent position, that's all that Serral really wants. As Reaper rotates over towards a third base, does get eyes on it. Interesting location for the third. It is going to be the triangular third on the low ground here. And this usually means, this is a little bit greedy, this base is more exposed, but it means that once we get into the mid game, your fourth is more secure, as the fourth is going to be on the high ground over on the right hand side. This is also a good way to just launch your creep into the map as well. As behind this, ooh, interesting, Bunny is going for a 1-1-1. A very aggressive opener out of Bunny, delaying his third TC in favor of a starport, going for an add-on swap as well. This should be for Banshees, and the onus is going to be on Bunny to get economic damage done with the Hellions, with the Banshees. Now I'm assuming it's Banshee and not Raven. There's some players like to dabble in the Raven, but there it is. Cloak is on the way. It is Banshees, thankfully. Now the question becomes, do we double down even further? How do we double down further? Oh my god, we're just diving in, Jesus. Getting some damage done on that tumor. Doubling down here would be to throw down something like an armory and just really commit hard here to the push. As we do see Serral diving in with his Overlord. He sees everything. Sees the starport, sees the lack of third TC, confirms the researching tech lab, and Serral will be soon getting spores, more queens, getting them in position as well, and yeah, Serral should be in a decent position here to defend. You know, behind this, it is not a 2-base all-in. There is a third CC on the way, but as a reminder, this third CC from Bunny is late. It is delayed because of the faster starport, so he still needs to get some economic damage done. So far, the Hellions are rotating between the bases, threatening a dive. They get a couple of tumors, but not much else. Not yet. We haven't lost a Hellion, thankfully. Bunny, good control so far, keeping his Hellions alive as he rotates back in once again. Because he got scouted, again, it's going to be that much more difficult to get damage done with his Banshees. You can see the Hellions, he's looking for a way in, trying to catch Serral out of position, looking to dive into a mineral line, but alas, he still cannot find a way in. Banshees are out. And they can even threaten the queens themselves. We have a second Banshee on the way. There is no mobile detection. Lair is a couple of seconds away from finishing. Until then, though, we're just going straight for the queens. And there we go. High energy queen is being targeted down. Clutch transfuse Banshee. Oh, sorry. Overseer is on the way. And the Banshees are going to be zoned back. And we haven't done any damage at all here to the economy. The workers are left safe and sound. Behind this, Serral is joining up to around 60, getting a fourth base up and running. Lair is done. Baleen Nest on the way. What I love, Baleen Speed on the way. What I love as well is that, again, Serral just playing very safe, didn't rush into his Evo chambers, didn't rush into upgrades. Now we have 1-1 on the way after the Baleen Nest was done, just to make sure that we had Balings available here in case we had a Hellbat push. So Serral, he was also thinking along the lines of a Hellbat push, and he was ready for it as well. And from the early game into the mid game, Serral's in a really good position. Across the map, Bunny is playing catch up. He's now getting his third base up and running. Orbital is still now finishing up, finally morphing in. 1-1 on the way. Combat Shield Stim is done. Bunny now focusing on his next step. Now, what I will say is that we had a really mature kind of playstyle here out of Bunny. Even though there was a lot of pressure on him, he didn't throw away his units. He had Hellions and Banshees. He tried to dive in, he couldn't, and he didn't throw them away. he preserves his units instead, which means the follow-up push on 3 bases is going to hit that much harder because he's going to have Hellions to support, Hellbats even to support, because by then we should have an armory, and the Banshees, they still pose a threat as well. So at least, again, Bunny, he hasn't thrown away his units. They still have potential for damage. Whereas, again, a more aggressive player or a risky player would just dive in anyway, hoping for damage. Drop comes in. Oh, a couple of Marines are being focused down, but the Lings go down. Good trade. I believe it was like 2 Marines here for a good chunk of Lings. The Marine's gonna escape. Yep, there we go. 21 Lings, but oh my god, we go straight for the hatchery. That's a kill. Ah, Serral, he shakes his head on cams. That's a kill, not a cancel. Big misstep there from Serral. At the same time, Hellions are threatening a dive, but we have Banelings in position. Oh my god, we go for the surround. And now it's gonna be Bunny's turn to be caught out. But again, losing these Hellions pales in comparison to losing the hatchery. 2 Hellions go down, the rest do escape. Banshees come in, they try to pick off whatever Banelings they can. We force another cancel. Bunny. Hey, we're popping up, we're hopping. Even getting a queen. Very nicely done. Trading out only Marines. Those Banshees still wreaking havoc. And this is what I was talking about. Because Bunny saved these units from the early game, they still pose a big threat. They get 4 drone kills. They kill a base. They cancel another hatchery. We go for the queens. We get another queen as well. And the Banshees will escape. And just like that, Bunny now takes a worker lead. Or I say worker, an economic lead. He's down 10 workers, but what about the mules? And here we go. Here comes the push with Hellbats to support. Serral going for his own counterattack at the same time. Can he hold on, though? Bunny's had a lot of momentum. Banelings, they roll in, but they will not get into the mineral line. Good connections with Marines, but they don't get SCVs. Another queen is going to go down. Serral getting ready for a surround. The queens are coming forward as well. The hatchery taking a lot of hits. Oh, my God. Barely survives, and we collapse on the tanks. The Marines, they try to split back, but big connections. And Bunny will be losing almost his entire army. We have reinforcements coming in, though. Oh my god, where are the Banelings? There are 0 Banelings remaining. The queens are off of creep. Show us the queens. The queens are going down. Oh my god, that's like 4 dead queens. Bunny can keep pushing. Serral's in a lot of trouble. More queens are going down. The tanks are repositioning. A couple of Hellbats did still survive. Serral getting ready for another surround. The Banshees, they're still there. Still adding DPS as we do come in from behind. More Marines are coming in, but it looks like Bunny is being cleaned up. Oh my god. Good target firing, but Bunny will lose his entire army. Has to back off, but the rally continues. As again, behind this, I'm pretty sure Bunny is 8-raxing. We actually haven't seen the production. We don't know how many racks he's working with, but I'm assuming it's 8. As Serral tries to collapse on this. Yeah, and he will force this back. Oh, never mind. It was not an 8-rax. The gases were taken. 4th base is on the way. Bunny, he's working on a 4th. He's taking an economic lead once again. A lot of creep was cleaned up, but Serral survived. That's what's important. Serral, he does make it alive. 4th base is being taken. Again, Bunny, he was thinking about that next step, working on libs 2-2. Serral only now throwing down the infestation, but this is a late pit. A very late infestation pit, which means 3-3 is delayed, Vipers are delayed, Adrenal Glands is delayed as well. Serral under a lot of pressure. Bunny asserting a lot of pressure. And now he's going for a split push. We have Marines towards the bottom. We have Marines towards the top as well. The target firing. Oh, God. Bunny almost taking some Banelings to the face. Is he looking? Show us. What's happening? Observer. Ah. I don't think Bunny was looking, as I think the drop towards the south was cleaned up. At the same time here towards the north, Bunny, he does preserve his Marines. Decent mine shots. Decent mine shots do go off, but the Liberators, they do survive. Hive is still on the way. Bunny is ahead in upgrades. He's already working on +3 attack. +3 defense as well. There is going to be a timing here, a window where Bunny has 3-3 and his opponent has 2-2. Again, Bunny just trying to keep the attention of Serral here towards the north. Trying to keep the attention on him. Meanwhile, towards the south, the mines. 2 of them go down. Premature. Only 1 mine does survive. Bunny is maxed out. Oh my god. His macro is insane. Big mine. Oh my. Massive mine shot as well. The connection on the Lings, on Banelings more importantly. And Bunny, he's focusing his attention here on the right-hand side. Sorry, on the left-hand side, on the north. A bit of friendly fire from those mines. Oh my god, a lot of friendly fire actually. As Bunny is forced back. Liberator doing what it can. Oh no, the missed rally. Bunny is not looking. Once again, Bunny is not looking towards the south. He takes some Banelings to the face. Some really rough trades actually. These two fights, Bunny has been losing a lot of Marines. Serral's barely holding on. But again, Serral is holding on with Lingbane Hydra. He has a Hive, but no 3-3, no Adrenal, no Vipers, no Bungles. Serral, he's forced into a corner. And Bunny, he's breaking in. You have Serral trying to dive on this army as well. But the rally, it's becoming too much. Yeah, Bunny snowballing out of control. 3-3s on the horizon. We're a couple of seconds off. We are a couple of seconds off, and once that kicks in, that's going to be huge. Suddenly, this Lingbane army, it's going to be that much weaker, and here we go, we're committing. Mine shot's going to be going off. Oh my god, so many Banelings, they go up on the Marauders as well. Decent spread here out of Bunny. 3-3 kicks in, or +3 attack even. And we can just stim on forward, and it looks like there's just not enough to hold on. No Banelings left. No Lurkers. Just Hydra Ling. And without Banelings, Bunny doesn't have nothing to fear. Here we go. We have reinforcing Banelings just in time. Serral, he's holding. He's barely holding on. He hasn't had the chance to counterattack at all. Now going for a Ling run by on the right-hand side as Bunny is taking a 5th base. Bearing in mind that Serral, he doesn't have his 6th base mining. Only for Larva. Dude claps on some Marauders. Mine shots go up. It looks like actually Bunny's rotating towards the right-hand side. Bunny, he's done pushing on the left. He barely could not break through. Very impressive defense here from Serral. Very impressive. But he's not quite in position. Here on the right-hand side, we're diving on top of this base. Banelings are finishing up just inside the mines. Ooh. Big connections. But they're being cleaned up. And Serral, he has a moment here to stabilize. Now we have Vipers on the way. Now +3 carapace. No +3 melee. I believe we're still missing Adrenal. Yeah, we're just pointing that out. Adrenal has not started. Serral doesn't have the money for it. I know the Observer, he's like frantic, like, look, no upgrades. I mean, we don't have the money. Serral, he's just really just pumping out as much as he can. Does not have a bank. Doing his best here to keep up just because of how efficiently Bunny has been trading. There it is, Lurker Den on the way for Serral. Here we go, we are going to be pushing on forward. Mine shot's going to be going up. Not the best mines, not the best connections. Serral has maxed out. This is an opportunity where Serral could afford Adrenal. This Observer's really... It's happened before. But here we go. We're diving on the army. Oh! Good mine shot. Mine shots do go off once again. Not so much here towards the north. Bunny, can he break on through before the Lurkers come out? I mean, as I say that, Bunny, he's already working on ghosts. He can deal with Lurkers. 4 ghosts at a time. Yeah, the Lurkers, they are arriving now. 3 being built. We have Lurker range. 3-3 on the way here for Serral. Barely getting into his upgrades. But Bunny is breaking through. Good mine shots once again. We're getting on top of the Marauders. Here come those Vipers finally dealing with these libs. One of them goes down. Bunny needs to take a moment here to back off. God, this has just been such a tense game here. Serral just barely surviving over and over again. He just refuses to die. But likewise, the macro of Bunny still standing strong. Meanwhile, our observer really wants us to know that there is no adrenal glands. Really wants us to know that. Ay, ay, ay. That we know, Pappy, we know. As with this, Bunny trying to expand towards the north. EMP misses. Barely grazes one of those Vipers, not the other. The lurkers have been spotted. Ghosts are in the back line. Bailey's rolling into the concave. Oh, not the best trade from Serral. Nuke on the way. Oh my god. Yeah, Serral, he's diving on that ghost though. Denies the nuke. Decent powerbomb. Rough trade there from Serral, and these lurkers are so low. Yeah, they're both going to go down. And now we can stim on forward. Serral out of position. He has to reinforce in this base. Will fall. Bunny finally breaks through again. No lurkers, no banelings. There's one lurker towards the south. Can we get it? Finally, we get it. At the same time, Serral finally able to find some breathing room to go for a counterattack. And Bunny, what does he have back at home? Not much. But enough, though. A couple of reinforcing Widowmines come in. Bunny still unable to expand towards the top left. They're still pointing out there's still no adrenal. Which is impacting these fights. Like, it is important to take note that, again, Serral has been behind in upgrades. 3-3 just now kicking in, and adrenal is a big part of that as well. Here we go. Serral's able to get some like room for reprieve here. Lurkers pushing forward. Vipers trying to find a way in. One lurker does overextend. We don't have that many to begin with. There we go. We have what, 5, 6 lurkers. We have 3 towards the south. I believe 5 towards the north. Ling is finally going to go down. Finally, we can land that CC. Get it up and running. We're still pointing out the... Thank you. Ay, ay, ay. Still pointing out the lack of adrenal. We're diving on top of the lurkers, and 3 of them go down. At the same time, we dive on top of the army as well. Both players will be losing bases. Oh, 19. Oh my god. 19 SCVs. 19 SCVs do go down. Big blow to the economy here of Bunny, actually. Finally, he sustained some economic damage. Serral is looking to engage. Coming in from behind. Not the best fight from Serral, though. A little bit disjointed. Leading out a lot of Lings. And Bunny, he's going straight for that half-gold base. Okay, we still have those 5 lurkers. The concave visual. The Baileys, they connect. They take down some ghosts. Oh my god, not the best trade from Bunny. He's losing so much. Oh my god, he just plummets in supply, trying to force the issue, pushing into those lurkers, and that was disastrous. And it looks like Serral may just snowball out of control. The SCVs go down as well. Bunny down to 46. Again, just a couple too many bad fights, and Bunny was doing so well for himself. He was doing so well. But it looks like he just wasn't able to keep up. Not with Serral, not as the game progressed. But I'm impressed. Like, honestly, any lesser Zerg player, give us like Reynor, for example. I think Bunny would have done it. He would have broken through. I feel like any other Zerg player, Bunny, he would have broken them far earlier in this game. It's insane how much pressure he's been asserting and how much Serral's been able to hold on. Massive mine shots gonna be going. Oh my god, big mine shots! But Bunny, he's just bleeding out too much. He doesn't have an economy. GG gets called. Oof. Some emotion there out of Bunny, and Serral will take it. Stressful game there, shaking his head a little bit. That was closer than I thought a lot of us thought would be. But Serral does take the first game. GG, that was crazy. That was wild, Papi. That was wild. Bunny was looking so damn good. He was all over Serral, and there were multiple moments where Serral was looking dead. Where Bunny was so close to breaking Serral on multiple fronts. Killing bases, trading efficiently against the Ling Bane, getting on top of lurkers, getting on top of the Hydras. But Serral was barely holding on. Oh my god. And eventually was able to recover, able to get some breathing room, get enough lurkers out. Even without adrenal glands, he was able to start trading a little bit better. And the turning point was when he killed 19 SCVs. The turning point was when he denied top left, killed a base, took down a mineral line, and suddenly Bunny could not rebuild. He could not replace what he was losing. Too many losses, snowballed out of control. Whew, GG. That side though, yeah, you could see Serral, he was frustrated. You can see after that game, a bit of a shake of the head, a bit of frustration there, maybe at how close that was. Really cool to see Bunny actually forcing that out of Serral, but we'll see how this turns out here in game number 2. Going to be on Alcyone. This is of course Bunny's map of choice. Is going to be his second map. And I'm curious where this takes us. Alcyone is more of a macro-oriented map. We have seen a lot of late game on this map because of how many bases there are, how defensive a lot of bases can be. So I'm feeling that Bunny at least wants to go the distance here. How will Serral approach this, especially after what just happened in game 1? It's very possible that after game 1, Serral may actually be the aggressor himself to try to stop Bunny from gaining too much momentum. Here we go. See for sure in the chat, I coached Serral through that game, don't tell people. Is that why it was close? Is the for sure's coaching actually hurting Serral? That would make sense. That would that would make a lot of sense. As we're getting into our next game, and in the bottom left hand corner we have for Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. And in the top right, we have his opponents. For Team Basilisk, it is Serral. He won, didn't he? Were you watching? I don't know if for sure was watching the game. It was a tense game, Papi. It was close, man. It was close. And that's also why, again, my eyes are on Serral here. I'm very curious to see how he approaches this. And I'm really curious to see if he is going to be a little bit more aggressive here, if he wants to try to slow Bunny down before he gets into the mid-game, before he gets the ball rolling, because that was terrifying. What we saw in Hecate was the Bunny from Monty Python, essentially. It was but Serral survived. He did survive it. Based on his reactions after that game, I'm not too sure if he wants to try to do that again. We'll see. So far, Hatch Gas Pool. Hatch Gas Pool out of Serral. Standard opener. Meanwhile, Bunny, is he going to go for another 1-1-1? Winding it back, it was a while ago because of how intense that game was. But Bunny did go for a 1-1-1, went into a Hellion Banshee, into a delayed third TC, and mate, the way that Bunny was able to just control his forces, able to pull apart the attention of Serral, does he do that again, or does he have something else in store for us? We're here to find out. For now, Reaper is on the way. We do have a Rax expand. No 2 Rax this time. No 2 Rax in sight. Serral just focusing on his gas mining. Another little detail that we did notice in that last game was that Serral opted not to pull out of gas, just to be safe and secure and rush into link speed. I would be curious to actually, yeah, he does it again. There we go. Link speed is on the way immediately. So really safe play here out of Serral. Doesn't want to cut corners. Doesn't want to try and get into a situation where he gets bamboozled by additional Reapers. This Reaper is going to be threatening that mineral line. Almost gets a drone, not quite. And there it is. It is going to be a third CC before Starport. So a very economic opener here out of Bunny. Switching gears entirely, we saw that in Game 1 he was hyper-aggressive. Here in Game 2, a lot more defensive. And this leads into what we were talking about when it came to this map. Alkione, it is a very macro-oriented map. It is very easy to cut the map in half as well. To get up into a split map scenario, your third and fourth base is very secure. We go straight for the... We go for the tumor. We do not get it. Also, a big shout out as well to Flappy. I was just squinting at my monitor to make sure I didn't misread it. Flappy, thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming, ladder session. Welcome everyone. Welcome to WTL World Team League, our first series of the night. Team Basilisk versus Mystery Gaming. Basilisk are leading 2-1. And this is Game 2 between Bunny and Serral. Game 1 was wild. I highly recommend checking out the VOD, because Game 1 was everything that you want out of a TVZ. Serral did take it after a very, very intense game. And now we're here in Game 2. Bunny, of course, just going to be threatening the third base. To wind it back a little bit for those that are tuning in, it was an economic opener out of Bunny, going for a fast third TC. Into the rest of his setup. We have Stim on the way. Starport already done. Viking first. Interesting choice from Bunny. Going to be ensuring that he keeps the rest of his build hidden. We're just pointing out that it looks almost like a 3cc 2-1-1. But of course, the revelation of the Viking does reveal that the Starport is a little bit faster. The rest of the Raxes are on the way. And we are going for an earlier drop, as the medevac is in production. Meanwhile, back at home, Serral is playing very safe. Interesting choice. Even though it's a 3cc build, Serral, just like the last game, is going for a Bailey Nest first. Should be leading into a lair. Serral, he's delaying his Evo Chambers, delaying his upgrades in order to have a very safe opener. He doesn't want to get caught out. A lot of players, if they do see an economic opener out of the Terran, they actually delay their lair and they delay their Bailey Nest in favor of upgrades. But we can see that Serral, he isn't cutting any corners. Not cutting any corners here, as Bunny is attempting to be active on the map. Even forcing a bit of an overreaction there from Serral, pulling back his workers. So some lost mining time for a little bit. As Bunny is setting up a Hellion drop, actually. Oh my god. Does get eyes on the fourth base, but he's going straight for the main. And there is some area here that just is not covered by Overlords. A bit of a misstep here from Serral, not covering his main. Here we go, the Hellions that go straight for the mineral line. The drones are being pulled, they're lining up. Do line up for a moment, 5 workers go down. Already worth it here for Bunny, as he will clean up the Lings, and he may even get some more drones. Good juggling as well. 1 more Hellion goes down, 2 are saved. That's 5 drones and a handful of Lings. Again, a good trade from Bunny. Behind this, though, Serral amassing an amount of Ling Bane. 1-1 is on the way, bathing speed as well. 22 more Lings actually in production. And Serral, he is looking to be active on the map. Oh, that's 3 more Raxes. There we go. We're just pointing out that this time, if you recall, Bunny in game number 1 did not 8 racks. He was hyper aggressive, but he got a 4th, got a 5th base, went into a macro game. This time, straight up 8 racks out of Bunny. Those wondering, an 8 racks is a 3 base all in from the Terran. Typically, you don't get your gases at the 3rd, you don't get a 2nd factory, you don't get a 4th CC. It's just 3 bases. 8 racks is pure bio, and of course a couple of tanks that you did build up over the course of the game. And you just send it. Just rally, and you don't stop. You don't stop until someone dies. So a very aggressive build here from Bunny. So far, Serral's in the dark. He doesn't know. Drop is going to be coming into the main base, but there are Lings in position this time. But Bunny, oh no! Medevac is going to go down. Does get taken up by those queens. Very nicely done here from Bunny. Sorry, from Serral. At the same time, Bunny trying to push through the center, but loses his Hellions. Bunny has to be careful not to bleed out too much. Again, he's building up towards this big all-in, and the more he loses, the weaker his all-in is going to be. So he has to be very careful with his army, and here we go, the push is upon us. Again, the observer is just pointing out that there are no gases, there's no follow-up. Armory now on the way for 2-2 eventually. We are clearing up a little creep. At the same time, Serral going for a big counterattack. Or even looking to catch reinforcements. There we go. He goes for the third base. At the same time, Bunny is all in. He's pushing in. He turns around. No shot. Bunny, he turns everything back around. Ay, ay, ay. This is giving Serral so much time. As Serral, he's just amassing more Lings back at home. 2-2s on the way. More Banelings as well. Again, time is working against Bunny. We gotta go. It's all or nothing for Bunny. And Serral is getting ready for another counterattack. Actually looking to go in for a surround. And because of the time that was bought, I'm just not too sure if Bunny can survive this. Lingbane tries to come in from behind, and yeah, there we go. The full surround is being set up. Bunny, he does pull back in time, but we come in from every single angle. As Serral, he just swallows up the tank, swallows up the army of Bunny, and there's almost nothing left. Again, this all-in, it just took a little bit too long. Bunny even had to turn back around, and it gave Serral so much time to amass an army, to surround, to set up. And Serral, he's sitting pretty. He's perfectly fine at this point. This all-in has not worked. Will not work. And now Bunny has to transition. He's trying to get ready back at home. But Serral is snowballing out of control. Gets on top of the tanks. And now working towards that third base. Again, Bunny, he had an impressive showing in game number 1, but here in game 2, going for the all-in, just not against Serral. Was maybe hoping Serral would be a little bit too greedy, but GG gets called and Serral will take the 2-0. Buddy, a little bit upset there. Again, like maybe thinking about game 1. Like game 1 was so close. Like, oh my god, it was beautiful. It was everything we wanted. But here in game 2, a much more dominant performance out of Serral. GG, well played. And with that, Team BASILISK, they take a 3-1 lead. And they need one more. They need uno más to take the series. It all comes down to a PvP. It all comes down to Strange versus Trigger. Now, Strange needs a 2-0 here to force the ace match. Trigger needs one win. One win, and Team BASILISK will win the entire series. Here we go. We're just going to be setting up those predictions un momento. So PvP is up next on the horizon, and oh, my apologies. There we go. PvP is going to be up next, and oh, looks like our players are ready. Here we go, which means predictions in the chat. We'll wait a little bit. We'll wait a little bit before we do open up those predictions. Meanwhile, here we go. Now, a PvP Strange is, as you can imagine, a very strange player. He has a very unique playstyle. He's very difficult to read, and it looks like we do not have a lot of time because predictions are now open in the chat. Place your bets on how you think this series will end. A 2-0 in either direction or a 1-1 score. Also, we don't have cams, which means I believe this was played via replays. Which makes sense if our players are competing in ESL Masters. But here we go. In the top left, we have Strange from Mystery Gaming. And in the top right, we have a Team BASILISK. It is Trigger. Again, if the players are otherwise preoccupied, with some other kind of event going on. Maybe they have to be elsewhere. Maybe there's an ESL Masters match coming up as well. Then players, they can kind of play this out ahead of time and then submit the replays to the admins. And I believe that is what is happening here. And we'll see how this does turn out. Oh boy, let's go. PvP on Equilibrium. We don't get a lot of PvPs on this map. It looks like both players are going for two gate openers on the high ground. Very standard stuff. For those wondering, there is no ramp leading into the natural, so it is considered to be unsafe to go for a greedy economic opener. Now, over the weekend, we were casting quite a lot of Korean PvP, and it was exciting. It was exciting because it was Nightmare versus Hero. And almost every game, they both went for gate expands on the low ground. Like very Max Pax-esque. And it was amazing to see. It was beautiful. It looks like, I don't know if I want to extrapolate too much, but it looks like the Korean Protosses are now adapting the Max Pax playstyle of just being hyper greedy. I say greedy, but just, adjusting the meta here in PvP. But here, of course, we have a European and a North American Protoss, and we're still just going for gate expands. Everything's looking, two gate openers. Everything is looking quite normal. Proxy pylons are being thrown down. Ooh, and we are committing to an all-in. Strange throws down the Robo. He throws down the Robo, and here we go. Strange is going to be going all in. Trigger should be looking to expand. He's going in for a probe scout. He does have a fake proxy pylon out of the map as he slips into the main base, and he should be seeing the lack of pylon. There we go. The pylon is missing. There is another, actually a third pylon is thrown down for Strange, but it's still on the way, so Trigger should know that it's missing, that it should have already been done at this point, so something is wrong, something is amiss. And Trigger should be looking. On one base, Trigger, he's going for a Twilight Council, should be a Twilight Council expand. As yet, Trigger, he's checking the northern location. So the place that Trigger is scouting would be primed for a proxy Stargate. But alas, Immortal is on the way. And yeah, Strange, one way or another, the game is going to end. He's sending it, Bobby. Meanwhile, Trigger does end up catching some of these Adepts. Going to be able to focus them down. Force them back even. Stalkers are being pulled a bit out of position. Strange coming in with reinforcements. Immortal's on the way. So far, again, the Robo hasn't been scouted. Trigger also hasn't seen if Strange has expanded or not behind this. So he doesn't quite know, but he's coming in for another scout. He's checking, and now he knows, he sees the lack of expansion. Yeah, he throws down another gateway. Adepts, they do threaten the shade. They do actually commit. Two Adepts do one-shot workers. Probes are falling. The Immortal reveals itself, and we're going straight for the pylon. Oh, God. Oh, it takes a lot of damage, but alas, we have a backup pylon on the way. A shield battery as well. Trigger, he's holding, and now realizes what's going on. He knows. He's getting ready for it. Again, Blink halfway done. A couple of probes did go down earlier. Now, with all those proxy pylons, we can actually harass across the map. Trigger should be looking to warp in a couple of Adepts. That's if he can hold on. We have high ground vision. Gateway is going to go down. And that is going to impact the overall production here of Trigger. Even depowering the Cybercore, not the biggest depower to be fair. And look at the Unisab as we commit to the shade once again, killing even more workers. 3 probes are lots of lost mining time as well. With that, Strange does take an economic lead. We have to be careful though. The Prism does go down. A massive dive there from Trigger. He doesn't get the Immortal Zone. He takes a lot of hits to the face. Oh my god. As the Immortals, they just chunk through that army. Trigger dropping in supply. The Immortals once again getting another Stalker, trading 1 for 1. So we have a third Immortal in production. Strange still threatening that front door. But losing that prison was huge. That means he can't reinforce on the front lines. There we go. It has to be rebuilt. That will delay the 4th Immortal as well. I just realized something. Hold on. It is going to delay the 4th Immortal, but we're pushing forward regardless. Trigger, he's trying to gain control of the low ground. He's trying to eventually expand. The longer this goes on, is it better for Trigger? I mean, he does have Blink. But the worker counts are pretty similar. And Trigger is being forced back. They're trying to scout each other, get eyes on each other. The last thing they want is like a random ninja goal base, for example. And Trigger, he's just going to be expanding. Or expanding? He's going to be warping in across the map. A couple of Stalkers are on the way. Not Adepts, Stalkers instead. Interesting. Interesting choice here. From Trigger. Now with those Stalkers, he is going to be looking to try to cripple the economy of his opponent. Maybe even force a recall. At the same time, oh my god. Strange, basically one-shotting a Stalker there. But yeah, he does have to recall back home. 3 workers go down. And Trigger, he breaks free. As Strange turns everything back around. And then suddenly, Trigger has map control. He is looking for the robo. He doesn't know where it is. If he did, he would just dive on it, but is unaware. Instead, he's pushing out, and suddenly the turns of table, the dynamic has changed. There we go. He finds the robo. Gonna shut it down. Expansion's being taken. But Strange, he comes back in. He's not taking this lying down. He's getting more probes. Oh my god. 3, 4 more workers. 5 even. Oh my, 5 probes. Trigger, his economy hurting. Both players are expanding. We're in a really weird game state here where both players are trying to get into the mid game. We can't push into 4 Immortals. That's not happening. And yeah, we're kind of gonna settle from here. Just really weird. We started off both players being all in, and now both players are just backing up. They kind of cancel each other out in a way. And it's hard to really say. Oh my god. As 2 more Stalkers go down. Hard to say who has the advantage. I want to give the edge to Strange. I think the biggest thing right now is that Strange is about to have Blink. There we go. 5 seconds away. Blink now kicks in. So the one advantage that Trigger had isn't really there anymore. He does have a larger Stalker count, don't get me wrong. But Strange can now keep up with his Blink control. Yeah, pulling back in the end. Revealing Blink to his opponent. Charge now on the way. Trigger trying to get into something completely different. Oh my god, rushing into a... That's a very fast robotic spay. Very fast spay here from Trigger. Very greedy. Out of our Protoss. We'll see if we can get away with it. We're gonna get Disruptors, the other great equalizer. The question becomes, is Strange gonna push on 2 bases, or does he take a 3rd? It looks like he's taking a 3rd, which means he's giving Trigger a lot of room. A lot of breathing room here to actually take up into those Disruptors. So for the time being, I kind of want to favor Strange, because, again, both players have Blink and Strange has 4 Immortals. But that will change as soon as the Bay kicks in, and as soon as we get Disruptors. And there it is, the first Disruptors on the way. Meanwhile, Strange, he's rebuilding his robo, getting into a forge for +1. Trying to get into the economy as well. As we can see, the hallucination did not scout. Did not see. Does not know. This is just, yeah, just a wild play here out of Trigger. It's typically really risky to rush into a bay like this, but he got away with it. And now we have disruptors. Disruptors are out. You can see Strange just trying to figure out what exactly has been going on. He's been going for these hallucination scouts, but hasn't really seen much. And as a result, he's falling behind. He's not taking additional gases, which we are just pointing out, which shows us that Strange isn't going to be taking from here. He has charge and +1 on the way. He's going to be hitting who's going for a very heavy Zealot army. And he doesn't know that he's going to be pushing into disruptors. Still doesn't. He sees the third at least, and he may have seen a disruptor. It's possible. As the Phoenixes, they do run past each other. There it is, a massive gateway explosion for Strange. Remember, he still hasn't taken his gases at his third or his fourth base. Strange is staying on 2 gases, which tells us that he wants to go all in. With +1, with charge. Like, he's not really thinking further ahead. He's not even incorporating any Archons. If Trigger recognized this, I wouldn't even be opposed to Trigger making Colossus. I think against Zealots, they wouldn't be the worst thing. Just an alternative to Archons, basically, for some splash damage. But yeah, here we go. We have 4 shield batteries here at the third base. With an overcharge, he did take notice of the lack of gases. And here we go. It's all or nothing for Strange. Not the first time I've said this game. Not the first. Maybe not the last. Let's see, we go. Strange going to be pushing on forward. We are pretty even in the worker count. Even in the armies as well. How good are the Novas going to be? Good force fields. We dive on top of the disruptors. 1 goes down a second as well, but the Novas, they will connect. Overcharges. The Immortals, they can't fight. The overcharge goes off. The Immortals are cut off completely. Finally, they engage with the army. Zealot do close the gap. We're getting on top of the disruptors once again. Overcharge did run out. Strange, he's breaking through. Oh my god, the power of these Immortals. They just power through everything. GG gets called. The Immortals went to town. And Strange takes game number 1. Not just the Immortals, but yeah, honestly, like, it was a really good engagement. Really solid engagement there out of Trigger to be able to force field and keep those Immortals back initially. But the Gateway army, the Zealot army, was doing a surprising amount of damage. And we only really connected with 1.5 Novas. We had another Disruptor that wasn't really doing much in the back line. Strange, pulling off the all-in. GG. GG, well played. And now we have Trigger's map of choice. Oh my god, we're diving right in. In the bottom left, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. And in the top right, we have his opponent for Team Basilisk, Trigger. Oh. There we go. Oh my god, and yeah, that was wild. I'm really impressed that that actually worked from Strange. I felt like it felt like more Novas should have connected there. Again, really good at force fields, but the Disruptors, we were banking on them to do a little bit more, and they were lacking a little bit, and without those Novas going off, Trigger had nothing much else here to keep up to be able to hold on against the army of Strange. And now Trigger is going for a gate expand. Strange isn't. Very curious. So there are 2 maps where you can go for these economic openers and be quite greedy. That is Side Delta and, of course, Radisson Station. Radisson Station, I mean, that's greedy to the next level. You know, you go for gate expands. Trigger is moving out with his probe, though. Interesting, as Strange goes for a 2-gate opener. Back at home, and Trigger going what looks to be a gate expand. But we'll see. We'll see if Trigger commits to this proxy, if he goes for a proxy Stargate even. Cybercore is on the way. Pylon gets thrown down. We could go in a couple of different directions. This is a good position for a proxy Stargate, true. We could even double down and go proxy Twilight Council with the Dark Shrine. Interesting. As Strange is going for a 1-base all-in. Strange, he sees the economic greedy opener of Trigger, and he's going to be responding with a Pylon. I believe this is going to be a proxy Robo, but we'll see. Adepts are on the way. Trigger is going for a much more standard proxy Stargate. This is designed to cripple the economy. This is not all in, but this proxy Robo is all in. And we're going to have a very interesting dynamic where Strange is going to have more firepower. I mean, I say that. He opens up double Adept. We could try to go for a War Prism first and ferry the Adepts into the mineral line to get economic damage done. Meanwhile, Trigger back at home. We have a Robo. With that defensive Robo, we're gonna be having Immortals back at home as well. So a really solid build order here, or opener, out of Trigger. And things are about to get really chaotic. As Oracles are going to be on the way. Immortals soon thereafter for Trigger. Oh my god, he almost starts +1 air attack for a moment there. But there it is. There's the Oracle in production. And there's that Prism. So we spoke about this. We mentioned how because of the Adepts, this could actually be a War Prism opener, which wouldn't be anywhere near as aggressive. Oh my god, Strange. Is he going for the gold? Mate, Strange is going to take the gold. I love this. Strange looking to expand here in the center of the map. But the Oracle is on the way. Do we have anything to deal with the Oracle? As the wall is solid for Trigger. There it is. Gold base is being taken by Strange. Gold base is on the way. Strange, he dives into the main base. Adepts going straight for the mineral line as well. At the same time, the Oracle is also going to the main. One probe goes down. Meanwhile, Strange late reaction is going to be losing so many workers. Ay. Stalker does get warped in. That's one. We do tank some shots. It's 4 or 5 probes going down. Ay. We need more. Strange, he needs to do some counter damage, and he's going to get another probe. That's, I think, 2 or 3, but alas, that pales in comparison to what Trigger has done across the map. Trigger, he is up 5 workers. He sees the gold base. Also, because of this Nexus, Strange clearly isn't all in. He does come back in, though, with a couple more Adepts. Uh-oh. It is 4 more probes, 5 more even, and just like that, Strange is evening up the worker count. But that army, we have 2 Immortals, a Prism on the way. Trigger is about to counterattack. Trigger, he's basically going for his own 1-base all-in. This was never the initial plan for Trigger, but it just happens to be the case because he sees the gold. He knows that he's going to be behind if he goes into a longer game, so we just got to send it. Phoenixes are on the way. And Strange just doesn't really have much of a standing army. Oh, his probes are going down. Trigger evening up the worker count a little bit further. Prisms, they do pass by each other. But I don't know if there's an answer to these Immortals. I don't think there is. We do warp into the main base. We have a shield battery. We have an overcharge as well. The Adepts, they go straight for the mineral line. They're killing more probes. There we go. We get 3. We can maybe get 4. It's going to be close. 3 in total. Meanwhile, the drop is getting across the map. It looks like we're going straight for the main. Yeah, Trigger, you go straight for the main base instead. We could go for some pylons. There are Stalkers in position. But against Immortals, yeah, they go straight for the Prism. Can we? Oh my god, they go straight for the Prism. They got to get it. Prism goes down, but the Warpin finishes. The boys, they have to be pulled, and we try to dive on top of the Immortals. Adepts are coming in from behind. Stalkers even. We got a surround. Oh my god. The juggling is looking good. The Immortals are going down one after the other. Just barely. And Strange is holding. He's not taking advantage of his gold, unfortunately. He can't. There's no shield battery. But this is still up in the air. massive pick off there from Strange, getting both immortals, and yeah, this is just getting really chaotic. I think I still want to give the edge to Trigger only because Strange isn't mining from the gold. If Strange was mining, then we would be having a very different dynamic here. Yeah, as that gold is still not up and running. But there we go, shield battery's on the way. I think that's a shield battery at the gold, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, the Oracle going back into the main base as well. Blink is not done. At the same time, a Zealot drop into the main base of Trigger, going straight for the shield battery as well. God, this is just so chaotic. Shield battery goes down. We go for some of the probes. Strange heals 7 workers to the Oracle. Oh my god. But if he gets his gold base up and running, then it's okay. I'm surprised that Strange hasn't recalled to the gold. I'm very shocked that that hasn't happened. Yeah, he's just slowly chronoing workers there at the gold instead. Prism should finally go down. And Trigger is breaking free. Still no expansion from Trigger. Very all in. Look at how many look at how many stalkers he has. My god. Trigger, he's up 10 army supply. And what does Strange have to defend? He's been harassing. The army is spotted. He sees. He sees just how many stalkers there are. 1 immortal as well. And what does Strange have? Barely an army. Oh, that would have been a good time to pan over to the army. He's got a couple of stalkers. He has Blink. He hallucinates an immortal. Gets 1 stalker even. Ooh. Counter force fields from Trigger, not looking amazing. I love that we have a hallucinated immortal as well, just to kind of fake out our opponents. Very delicate dance here between our players. Now, if the force fields are good enough, Trigger cannot escape the force fields because he doesn't have Blink. Ooh, Trigger, he may actually try to bypass the army, actually. I do love this. Trigger, he may try to go for the main. For now, still threatening the main army, though. Well, yeah, we just dive on in. It looks like we focus down the Prism. We do get an immortal as well, but it took 2 volleys. It was a rough trade here for Strange. He just can't afford to lose so many stalkers. Okay, he's bleeding out too much. Being forced back. We have a shield battery. We have an overcharge. Strange, he's still okay. I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. He got the Prism. He got the Immortal. Is it true? And we can see Trigger just ignore the army and just go straight for the kill. Straight for the main. He knows he doesn't have to waste his time at the gold base, especially when it's not really mining. Force fields are thrown down. That Immortal in the back line putting in so much damage as well. Where are the Blinks? The Blinks are not there. We try to come in first around and we dive on top of the Immortal. Up! And we get it. Immortal goes down. Can we hold? Reinforcements start coming in. We get some Stalker on Stalker action and it looks like Strange is barely forcing this back. Oh my god. We have reinforcements on the way. Meanwhile, we do see Trigger just ignoring the army, going straight for a counterattack. Shield battery overcharge is popped. Both shield batteries go down. We're trying to get on top of the Prism as well. Good juggling here from Strange. Controlling his opponent. And we do see Strange is trying desperately here to get on top of that Prism. Barely doesn't quite pull it off though. The control is looking good from both players. Trigger, his army is getting very low. Oh my god, deep in the red. A couple more shots and they will go down. And it looks like Trigger, he's losing out on this fight. Strange has done it. GG gets called. A very tense, chaotic game here. And Strange pulls it off. He gets the 2-0. We're going to the ace match. Whew. Again, time was working on Strange's side there because he was on 2 bases as opposed to the 1 base of Trigger, a gold base as well. I am so shocked earlier though that Trigger lost both Immortals in his own push. Like Strange, his defenses were just Yeah, wild. I feel like on paper. Oh, sorry, as we switch our scenes. I feel like on paper, multiple times their trigger should have been winning there. He should have been overwhelming his opponent, but barely was not, time and time again. And now it's time for the ace match. We're going all the way. We're going the distance. And this is what I mean. These past 2 weeks, Mystery Gaming, they've been popping off. They have no one believed in Strange 2-0. Come on, guys. it's a PvP, Pop. It's a PvP. How could you not? But yeah, Mystery Gaming, they have been popping off these past couple of weeks. They're finally getting into their zone. They're finding their stride. Last week they took down Team Liquid. Can they take down Team Basilisk on Alcyone? I'm curious. I feel like Bunny wouldn't be a bad pick. I think it's going to be a Zerg player. Either Serral or Reynor. Most likely Serral from Mystery Gaming, right? 100%. Sorry, from Team Basilisk. Most likely Serral. SHIN took a game off of Serral. Could SHIN do it again? I think so. But this map specifically may be better suited for Bunny. I don't want him to ARAX again. I don't want that. But that more aggressive style that we saw in Hecate, very macro-oriented, we could find some success. We could definitely find some success there. I think that there's an argument to be made for both Bunny and SHIN. But who do you think? If you're in the chat, who do you think comes out to face off against Serral? Who has the best chance? Who has the best chance? Stream was very good. Oh, that's good to hear, Flappy. It's good to hear. Good to hear. Did not game. Well, was thinking Trigger wins because of ping advantage. That was a chaotic series. That was. To be fair, I'm disappointed that no one predicted Strange 2-0, but I'm very understanding that that PvPs are very unpredictable and it's just difficult to read anyway. Even if pings are even, like Strange is just such an aggressive player and. Yeah, can take it to anyone in the PvP. Can take it to anyone, but here we go. It's all gonna come down to a best of one. One best of one. Light versus Serral, Poppy. Let's go. Okay, what's my prediction? I think I want to see Bunny versus Serral. My heart wants Bunny versus Serral because I feel like game 2 was a bit of a wash. Like I feel like we didn't get what we wanted from that 8 racks, and I would want to see a longer game and a more drawn out game between Bunny and Serral again. But the brain says SHIN. The brain says we send out SHIN again, right? Like he's already taking a game off of Serral. He knows he can do it. He can do it again. SHIN already took a game off of Reynor, is what I meant to say. I think the way that he was able to take games off of Reynor is comparable to how he would approach Serral. SHIN makes a lot of sense. But I can see the logic for a Bunny pick. I can see the logic. Let's see. Let us see. Again, the teams are just deliberating. Also, to be fair, I know we keep bringing up Serral, but Reynor is also a viable option. Reynor is also a very viable option here for Team Basilisk. Depending on who feels strong, who feels good here at the moment. Bearing in mind that both Serral and Reynor dropped maps. They both did drop maps here. I'm sorry, why do I... My brain keeps thinking that Bunny won game 1. He should have won game 1. Reynor dropped the map. Serral didn't. So, again, maybe Serral is feeling a little bit better mentally. Like, his mental state may be a little bit stronger. Reynor may be a little bit deterred after losing some games. So, I feel like the obvious pick should be Serral, but we'll see. We'll see what they decide. Bunny versus Trigger. Colossal. Colossal go. Here we go. Who is it? Oh my god. It's a rematch. We get an ace match. It is not Serral, it's Reynor, and SHIN, I feel like, was meant to be a Serral snipe. It's gonna be SHIN versus Reynor. Let's go. Oh my god. Also, am I crazy? Did Reynor have a wardrobe change? Did he put on the jacket? Was he always wearing that? Am I blind? I could be blind. I could just have my memory could just be gone from casting so much. It's very possible. Regardless, here we go. We're getting into the ace match. We're getting ready for the ace match. Predictions in the chat are going to open. One mystery best of one. All right, here we go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Who takes it? SHIN or Reynor, Mystery Gaming, or Team Basilisk? Oh boy, one way or another, it all ends here. The rematch, Game 3. Game 3 is upon us. Oh, they're laughing. Oh, they're bantering in the chat. Feels good, man. Feels good. Love to see it. Love to see it. One moment. I'm just double checking something. No, yeah, I'm not crazy. Let's go. I thought I was crazy. I'm checking the VOD. Reynor was wearing a different shirt. Or he put this green jacket on. It's new. It's new. I was like, he wasn't wearing that before, right? It looks like we had a bit of a wardrobe change. It makes sense, you know. Reynor just making sure he's looking fly for the chat, making sure he's looking good, looking suave, if you will. Maybe it's getting a little bit chilly over in Italia, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the ace player for Mystery Gaming. It is SHIN. And in the top right-hand corner, we have apparently the ace for Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. See, these are the things that I notice, all right? I'm always looking at the cams. I'm not looking at the game. Look, whenever there's something different in their room or like attire wise, I notice, Papi. I notice. Do I notice the fact that, you know, SHIN has that Reynor has like cut workers, that he's just massing links? No. But the jacket. There we go. That's what my eyes are drawn to. As here we go. So far, interesting openers. For the first time today, SHIN is not going for a 15 hatch. Hatch gas pool openers all around. Very standard stuff here between our players. Again, speaking about the openers, SHIN for the entirety of the day against Reynor was going for these 15-15 variations, really mixing up these link speed timings, and here it's going to be a little bit different. Now this gas geyser is still slightly earlier for SHIN, but only by a couple of seconds. This isn't the biggest of things. I can see our observer really wants to emphasize the gases, and it is true that SHIN's gas is slightly earlier, but only slightly, and I don't think that this window that this provides is too significant. Well, I could be wrong though. We'll see. We'll see if SHIN doubles down and goes link speed into a baling nest or a roach warren. We'll see. As link speed is on the way, do we pull out a gas? That's going to be the next question, as the overlords are going to be confirming the hatch timing. As you can see, link speed on the way for Reynor as well. Again, behind by like 3 seconds, I think. And yeah, we're just going to be droning. We're settling in towards the mid game, towards eventually a third base. And I feel like both players should be taking their thirds. Again, this time, SHIN doesn't have a setup to go into a 2-base play, to go into 2-base roach. Unlike what he has been doing again throughout this entire day. There we go, third hatchery being thrown down for both players. And they both confirm it as well. They confirm the timing of those hatcheries. Baleen nest on the way for both players as well. This is as standard as standard can get. This is a very, very meta ZVZ. Just no signs of aggression early on. Getting into Link Bane. No one's staying on 2 bases. No one's staying in gas and rushing into a lair. Everything's looking normal. Until now. Here we go. The aggression has begun. We're going to be cutting workers for now. We have a massive wave of Lings on the way, and we're going back into droning. So we're not all in, but we are being aggressive here with Ling Bane. A lot of this is going to come down to the control. Reynor going for a very fast Roach Warren behind this. Roach Warren is already on the way. SHIN one step behind. The Baling coming in. Good connection. A bit of a misstep there from Reynor. Taking a Baling to the face. Yeah, you can see there 8 Lings going down for nothing. Do want to be careful here. Say Baling said do rolling forward. So far, SHIN having good control. But Reynor, he's working on that next step. We took note earlier that Reynor did have a very fast Roach Warren. Roach Warren's still on the way for SHIN, and SHIN, he hasn't seen the Roach timing of his opponent. Uh-oh. He hasn't seen, he doesn't know. Now, thankfully, Reynor's droning, so even though he's getting fast Roaches, and there we go, the Ling does get into the main base, does confirm the Roach Warren is done. SHIN is aware. But again, Reynor is droning behind this, so he's pushing, but I believe he's just, again, posturing. He's trying to force a reaction out of SHIN. He's trying to force an overreaction while Reynor drones. Oh no! As he does take some Baileys to the face, loses his Lings. Not ideal. Reynor still heavily droning though. Droning up to 46. And SHIN now starts droning after being forced to make an army. Oh, this is a rough move. This is a rough moment here for SHIN. He's got a lot of catching up to do. He has an army, yes, but he can't do anything with it. No lair, no roach speed. Lair now on the way. And SHIN should be aware that he's been bamboozled. He was forced to invest into an army that he's not going to be using, not yet. And this may even force SHIN to go for a Spire to come back. Spire play, I wouldn't be opposed to it here from SHIN's position. Meanwhile, Reynor, he has a better economy. We're getting into our lairs. Gases are being taken. Spine Crawler on the way. With these gases from Reynor, I'm curious if even Reynor's going to go for the Spire. And there it is. Spire is on the way. Makes plenty of sense. We're not investing in upgrades. Reynor, he's ahead, and he's looking to get further ahead, taking every single gas he can. Meanwhile, SHIN committing to roaches. Okay, so there's going to be an interesting timing. There's going to be a window where SHIN could try to kill Reynor before he gets into Spire play. As we're pointing out, we're rotating between all the bases. We get it. We're rotating between all the bases. The gases haven't been seen. The gases would be a big tell. There it is, Spire now on the way for SHIN. Very late compared to his opponents. But again, the gases haven't been seen. The Spire hasn't been seen either. Both players are in the dark, but Reynor is going to be getting into mutas first. We need to scout this. We need to figure out what the hell is happening. Overseer going into the main, taking a lot of hits already. I don't know if it's going to make it. Is he going to make it? He will. He will make it behind the mineral line. He gets eyes on the Spire. That's almost done at this point. I'm curious. SHIN, if he wants to, he could even try to go Corruptor instead of Muta. It's possible. As we have 5 mutas on the way, it's not going to be a big investment into mutas. We can see that +1 range and roach speed is in production for Reynor, so based on that, it would actually be a mistake to go into Corruptors, just because Reynor isn't doubling down on it. Here we go, we're going mutas, 8 mutas in production. Muta v Muta, +1 air attack as well, and Reynor is pushing with not just the mutas, but his ground army as well. Reynor, he's up in supply, he's up in roaches, he has roach speed, he has been spotted by the overlords. And SHIN, he's in some trouble. The skull base is not going to finish. That's ambitious gold. Very ambitious gold base here from SHIN. Mutas have arrived, they take down an overlord. Oh, they find even more! Was that a kill? I think that may have been a kill, not a cancel on that gold base. Ay, ay, ay. I don't think we got the money back from that. Now the mutas are being hunted down. Really good control out of SHIN. Really nice control. As SHIN is, yeah, doubling down here on mutas. He's getting across the map. He does come across the queens. They cannot transfuse. At the same time, though, Reynor's pushing in. He cancels the 4th base of his opponent. As SHIN is trying to double expand. The mutas, they did overextend, though. They are racing back home. Roaches, they dive into the mineral line as well. SHIN is being pulled apart. He's catching a lot of roaches and ravagers, but the economy, that's what's important. 11 workers go down. 4th base is under fire. Mutas, they get dove upon, and SHIN bleeding out a little bit too much. SHIN is ahead in mutas, but they're very low. Does have to retreat, does have to back off. Oh my god, and SHIN, he is transitioning out of mutas into Hydra Lurker Viper. I appreciate this transition, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a while here. And Reynor, he gets his own gold up and running. Has been spotted. We could try to punish it, but Reynor, he's getting away with so much with that gold. Spores are finishing up. Now, SHIN is working towards a more efficient army. He just has to get there first. And that's easier said than done. Getting to Hydras, Lurkers, Vipers, it takes time. It takes so much time. As Reynor double expanded, he has a 4th and a 5th base on the way. Reynor, he has just an insane economy. And SHIN is having a hard time keeping up. Things get caught out. Mutas, they dive into the pocket. Oh, sorry, into the 3rd. Mutas are looking to be intercepted. Reynor trying to come in from the left-hand side. Doesn't quite catch the army, though. Oh, no! I spoke too soon. Mutas, they take a lot of hits, and it looks like we get one. Oh, barely not one. Reynor is repositioning. SHIN trying to keep up. SHIN maxed out. Ooh, and I don't think this is the fight that we want to take. The mutas, they're overwhelming, but here come the fungals. Big chain fungal here on the... Oh my god, the chain fungals do not stop, but they don't really do too much damage. Yeah, the mutas, we needed them to be a part of this fight. Reynor shaving off a lot of roaches here. SHIN falling back. A big fungal! And the Hydras, they get on top of the army. One fungal is not enough. Here comes a second. Hydras are going down one after the other. Do we have another fungal? We don't. The 50 festers. 2, 3 of them go down. Big losses. And Reynor's getting out of hand. He's getting out of control. The fungals were good, but again, we need more than just a fungal nowadays. Supplies are looking pretty close. More infestors are on the way. Reynor is doubling down on mutas, actually. Interesting. Muta production is continuing. The Ling run by going straight for the main base, past the main army as well. At the same time, SHIN gets into the mineral line. Chaos going on all over the place. Drones are falling for both SHIN and Reynor. Reynor coming back home. He catches the mutas. Pretty sure we wanted to get rid of them. But, yeah, rough loss here for SHIN. He only gets 3 drones. Not worth it. Meanwhile, SHIN... What's interesting about SHIN's composition is that he is avoiding lurkers. He's just going pure Hydra Roach Infestor instead, which is interesting. I feel like ideally, the ability, the advantage that lurkers do give you is that you get a more secure army against all these Banelings, and here we go, the Banelings are rolling in. It looks like we're going to have to spend fungals here on the Banelings, which is not what we wanted. They crash in. A lot of Hydras go down. But we keep pushing. Yeah, we are still not at any kind of lurker tech. And against a roach army that's amassing, that's a scary thought. Not just roaches, banelings as well. Like, lurkers, they give you just such a solid backbone against banelings, and it's something that we're lacking. Oh no! Show us! He's rolling in. So far, good control out of SHIN. He doesn't overextend. Pushing across the right-hand side. A lot of banelings are getting ready. This is going to come down to the fungals. The fungal! Oh my god, barely does connect. Another fungal as well, and we are spending a lot of fungals on these banelings. And we still need fungals for the mutas. That's the problem. We need fungals for everything. That's a lot of mutas. That's 2 clouds of mutas. And they're coming in. Fungal was wasted there on a baneling, but the hatchery will fall. SHIN's breaking through. I believe he has maybe 2 fungals remaining as reinforcements they're getting picked up. Oh my god, one after the other. So many units are going down. Banelings are just barely finishing. Oh my god. The infestors. We have to babysit those infestors. The banelings, they do barely finish up. And here we go. Reynor is coming from behind. Yeah, massive surround. The banelings, they will connect. And it looks like Reynor should clean this up. Microbial Shroud doing what he can. But the mutas are snowballing out of control. They get every single infestor. They get all the hydras as well. You can see just how little damage those fungal growths do. If this was the previous patch, then we would have seen more efficient trades. But the reality is that Hydra, Lurker, Viper does do a little bit better here against these mutas. Vipers especially. Or you can even just argue just Vipers in conjunction with infestors. But that was a big loss, a big blow for SHIN, and he doesn't have a bank. That's it. That's all he had. SHIN had that one army. He's still stuck on 4 bases. Hatchery goes down as well. Oh my god. Yeah, and that's going to be all she wrote. The Hydras, they're trying to keep up. They're doing their best. You can see SHIN shake his head on cams. Not too happy about the situation. But the mass muta style here of Reynor did come out on top. Was just a little bit too good. Remember, it was a late scout as well from SHIN. Very late scout. For those wondering, in the latest patch, the infestor does less damage. It does lock down the army, don't get me wrong, but it does far less damage than it used to. Do need hydras to make it worth it. The banelings! Oh god! They're rolling in. And they will connect with the mineral line. 12 workers go down. We dive on top of the army as well. We get kind of a fungal, but GG gets called, and Reynor has done it. He gets his revenge as the ace player of Team Basilisk. He takes down SHIN, and GG gets called. Team Basilisk will be this week's champion here of the mystery game. GG. GG, well played. Oh my god, it went down to the wire, went down to the ace match, and I have to give praise, I have to give credit. Big shout out to Mystery Gaming. Because again, I don't want to say this too often, but they were struggling this season. They were struggling a lot. They were at the bottom of the pack. But forcing the ace match out of Team Basilisk. And remember, imagine a world where Bunny won game 1. Oh my god. Imagine a world where Bunny wins game 1 against Serral, and that means we don't get an ace match, you know? Like, that was crazy. That was so close. GG, well played. Congratulations to Basilisk. Congratulations to Reynor, as well as Trigger and Serral. With that, we're going to be going on a short break. Enjoy the SE Boy casters, F91 and Xiaose, as they're going to be eating some spicy food and some spicy pork, beef, something. They're eating some food. There's some, yeah, it's, yeah. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have our final best of 7 of the night. It is going to be, let me just double check. It is going to be Team Liquid versus Shopify. See you then.